Hello everybody, this is Pastor Bo Wagner. Normally if you see me do a video, it's going to be something lighthearted and funny. Today I want to do something a little more serious and a bit educational. I've got in my hands here a $100 bill. Now, as far as this $100 bill goes, can I tell you how much this $100 bill is worth? Well, the answer is 12.3 cents. Now what I'm talking about is the material value of this $100 bill. It's mostly paper, it's got some fabric in it, but according to government statistics, it's worth about 12.3 cents, not $100. Now, why do I bring that up, and what difference does it make in your life and my life? Well, right now, the U.S. national debt, and this is just a published debt, not the off-the-book stuff, the published debt is around $28 trillion. That's a lot of money. Right now, there are about 209 million Americans over age 18. There was a stimulus package that was being debated by Congress, and it was going to be $600 per person, and then a whole bunch of money sent to Pakistan and other places for gender studies, because that's exactly what we need in COVID apocalypse. But anyway, the president shot back and said, no, it needs to be $2,000 at least for every American. Now, I am grateful that people have the potential to get some help because they have been devastated and their livelihoods have been ruined, mostly because of what the government has so stupidly done concerning all this COVID stuff, the lockdowns, etc. Yes, it's real. Yes, it's deadly, but lockdowns were not the way to handle it, and there's going to be an entire economy that is shot to pieces because of it before we're all said and done. But anyway, I want to deal with those figures. $2,000 per American 18 years old and up at 209 million people. That comes out to $418 billion more dollars, and that's if there was nothing else added to it. No extra pork, no nothing, just $2,000 for everybody. $418 billion extra dollars to the national debt. Now, why does that matter? The reason it matters is because this $100 is not worth $100. It is worth 12.3 cents in material. Why then is this, which has the same amount of material as this, by the way, why is this, quote unquote, worth $100 and this is only worth $1? Why can I buy, say, a nice pair of boots with this and maybe a candy bar with this? Well, the reason is something called confidence. I know that sounds weird when it's applied to money, but let me explain it. If $1 or $100 is to be worth something, people have to have confidence in it. In other words, they have to know that there is a reason why it exists. We're no longer on the gold standard in America. We haven't been for many decades now. In other words, since the time we went off the gold standard, the only reason $1 or $100 can give for justifying its existence is that it represents a good or service voluntarily exchanged. In other words, I can take this $100, I can go down to the boot store, I can buy a pair of boots with this. People at the boot store can pay it in $100 of salary to their employees. One of their employees who got this $100 can go down to, the suit store and get a suit, and then the suit store can exchange that to the power company to keep the power on. So everybody knows that this will legitimately give them $100 worth of goods or $100 worth of services. But if it ever gets to the point, if the government just prints money until everybody knows that there are no goods and services actually backing it up, and it's just been printed out of thin air, then at some point somebody's going to say, my good or service that was worth $100 back when money meant something, I'm not going to give it to you for $100 anymore. It's going to cost you 10 times that. It's going to cost you $1,000 now. Consider Venezuela. Their money is called the bolivar. In just the last few years, their currency has devalued 95% because they've done this. They've tried to monetize their debt. They printed money. In other words, if you were buying a loaf of bread for $1, our terms, one bolivar, their terms, if you were buying a loaf of bread for $1 a couple years ago, you are now spending $20 for it now. Hyperinflation has taken over. Now, when you think about this, consider the fact that Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and others have actually been making calls for people to be paid to stay home. The entire economy, just pay everybody to stay home till this COVID stuff is eradicated. Now, the fact that that's not going to eradicate it is neither here nor there. Let's just talk about the economic part of this. It would take literally scores of trillions of extra dollars to pay everybody to stay home. This is the same principle you have when you're talking about paying people's college, let them go to college for free, or letting people do anything for free. What you're doing is you're telling the government, just run the printing presses. Just keep on shooting money out. Keep on printing it left and right. Make as much of it as you want to make. I mean, after all, we've got printing presses, and if we got printing presses, we got money. That's a lot like saying, well, I've got checks, so I've still got money in the bank. No, that's not the way it works. When money's not worth anything anymore, then at some point, hyperinflation sets in, and you'll be paying $1 million US for a meal from McDonald's. You say, wait a minute, we've got the answer to that. We can fix that. We'll just have government-mandated price controls. Ding, ding, ding. And now we've arrived at the real crux of the matter. If you're going to print money left and right, just monetize your debt and let there be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of trillions of dollars in existence that can't justify their existence, then the only way that you can keep hyperinflation from setting in, theoretically, is to give the government absolute sovereign control over everything. They set the price of gas, they set the price of haircuts, they set the price of food, they set the price of the paper, they set the price of a book, everything. In other words, the word that you're grasping for there as you're thinking of it is slavery. As long as money has some value to it, we are free people. And we can freely exchange this with one another. I can say this that you're doing or this that you have is worth X amount of dollars to me. And you can say, okay, I'm willing to sell it for that. Or you can say, no, you need to give me another 10 on top of that. And we can freely exchange what has some worth. But once money has just started flowing off the printing presses and nothing backs it up, and once the world has lost confidence in this, then there comes a point at which an all-powerful government has to be in place to say, we're going to mandate what you make, what you spend, how much it costs. In other words, freedom is absolutely gone. Now, do you understand why the entire print money out and hand it out is the worst idea in human history? As long as money can justify its existence by being in existence due to a good or service exchange, it's worth something and we're free people. But once this is not worth anything anymore because we're just printing it, well, then why can't Venezuela do the same thing? Just make every Venezuelan trillionaires in their dollars. No, why trillionaires? Make every Canadian quadrillion jillionaires. No, I know there's not such a thing. But you see what I'm saying? If you're playing a pawn game, a shell game, where you can just print money at will and print denominations of bills at will, and it doesn't mean anything, then your freedom is absolutely gone, because there's going to have to be some government over you saying, we'll take care of setting the prices of everything. It's all about freedom. Say, preacher, you going to take the stimulus if I send it to you? No, yeah. Not like it's going to do me much good to tear the check up. But once people finally realize what's at stake, once they realize it's their actual freedom at stake, then hopefully they'll stop voting for people who think that printing money is actually sound monetary policy. Because what it is a ticket to slavery for everybody. This has been Pastor Bo Wagner, and this is my 2 cents worth, or 12.3 cents worth on money.